Hello there, and thank you so much for tuning in to the Rocker Dog Podcast, the only podcast that talks to musicians about their canine companions. I'm your host, Tim Dill, along with my muse, Charlie the Golden Doodle, who leans more poodle than golden, and today we welcome all the way from Sweden, Aska Dronjak, guitarist for the heavy metal band Hammerfall. Oscar's a big-hearted guy and active rescue advocate, and this is his pack of rocker dogs.
The oldest dog that we have is called Snaps. He's a Parson Russell Terrier mix, Chihuahua, some other stuff, mostly Parson Russell and Chihuahua. He's turning 12 at the end of March, at the end of the month. He's a bit old now, he was a very feisty one when we got him, but now last year was tough for him. We had to amputate one of his eyes, and he's also got some sort of arthritis or something. There's something bothering him in the joints and stuff. So he's getting painkillers now. So it's been like last year at this time he was in much better shape. He's going a little bit downhill now, but it seems to have leveled out. So hopefully he'll be with us for another couple of years.
Okay.
But yeah, that's just life, I guess. That's the hard part of having animals. They're so great when you have them, and it's so devastating when you lose them. This just like any other human being or anything like that.
Yeah, for sure.
But so that's the oldest one. The next one we have is Zelda. She's a greyhound. She is 7 years old. Yeah, a little bit more than that. She's 7 years old, and she came to us. She's actually a former racing dog, so she came from the track to us. They kind of threw her out, I guess, or took her to a shelter or something. I mean, that was a good fate for her, because normally they just put them down after when they're not no use anymore.
Yeah.
So so she came to us. That's a great dog, because she had suffered a lot. I don't think anybody had abused her. I don't think she ever got any kind of human contact, like love from anybody.
Right.
So the first 3 months, we had her for 4 years now. Yeah, she's been with us for 4 years. So more than half her life, she's been in a good environment. But the first 3 months, she was so needy. She had to lie on something soft, because she only had cement floors before, probably. But also on top of people. She wanted to lie next to somebody, head on somebody, like whatever, crammed into between you and the couch,
right,
the seat or whatever. For 3 months, she was just like, every time she had to be close and know that she was loved. And after that, boom, she's fine with anything. She loves attention, but she doesn't crave it the way she did. She got everything she needed out of that, and I think she relaxed a little bit after that.
Right. Who's your third?
Her name is Freyja. She is a husky Malamute, I think. Yeah, it's 75% husky anyway. So she looks like a husky, but we did DNA tests on all our dogs just to make sure.
Okay, I was going to ask.
It's fun. It's really fun to know. If it wasn't so expensive, I would do it on every foster dog too, because most of them are just street dogs. But it costs a little bit too much for that, I think, to do it, and every time we have somebody. But Freyja is a certain specimen, a certain case. I mean, she came from what I think was a breeder. Not sure exactly what happened to her. She was found in the street, but she was about 2.5 years old, maybe, when they found her, something like that. And she has been beaten. So she was just broken, basically. Mm-hmm. She came to us first couple of months. She was huddled in the corner, just lying. We had a bed that she for some reason, she just chose this spot, and we put a bed there. So she, that's where she felt safest. And so she was just lying there for a couple of months. You had to go there to get her, to pet her. She was fine. She was afraid, but she didn't. She just never, not even once, has she done any, aggressive things.
Right.
She was just broken when she got to us. She has scars around her eyes and stuff, and
oh my gosh.
Really, she was a really bad case. So this was a dog that we weren't planning on getting a second dog or a third dog at that time, but we saw her, and it's like, it feels so bad for her. And this is also one of those dogs that if we didn't take her, she probably would have a hard time to end up somewhere, because she needed a really special
Right.
family, and we had that pack that we have with well, with Snaps in particular, the small dog. He's really good at because he's of course the smallest, but he of course decides everything. He's the master of the house, or their little.
It's always the smallest.
Anyway. Yeah. I mean, he's the dog that would get himself killed if he didn't have a human to stop him, because he would attack anything. It doesn't matter the size, and they would of course kill him in one bite, snap his neck or whatever. So you have to take care about that. That's why we can't, when we foster dogs, we can't have just any dog. It has to be a submissive, preferably not a male, preferably a female, just because of that. He accepts those easier. And so far everything has gone really well with that. And he like with Freyja, he was her safe point in the family for a long time. He still is, but not as much. He's been with us 2 years now. So in the first year, probably maybe a little bit more, she followed him everywhere. If we went for a walk without him, she was like, where is he? Where is he? She was really nervous. But the great thing with Freyja is she's still, you can still see she's not a normal dog anymore. I mean, yet. I don't know if she ever will be, but she has come such a long way. It's still a long way to go, but she's come such a long way with everything. And the great thing is we have a kid, a son, he was 6 when we got her, and now he's 8, obviously. And in the beginning, you let her out, Freyja, in the yard, just go for a wee or whatever, and then come back in. And sometimes she was afraid to go, because she was afraid of the doorway. I don't know if she ever been inside of a house or whatever, so she didn't like to go through the doorway. She still doesn't. She still runs every time she goes through it. It's as if something's going to happen there.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's weird, but it's sad. To your point, it's just any dog that's faced abuse, you never really know its story or what the I mean, I guess you soon discover the triggers.
Yeah, exactly. So just a final thing with Freyja, she the first person, because she's never been afraid of our son, never ever. Like in the beginning, not from the first second. So when I went up to her, she was cowering and running away. I couldn't get her, to even do anything with her, really. Just had to be in the corner, then it was fine, But with Adrian, our son, he could just go up to her and do whatever he wanted, basically. So a couple of times she didn't want to go in, or I remember one specific time we had to leave now. We just, we can't wait anymore. I think it was the bus even involved. So it was like time sensitive. And she just didn't want to come in. We were chasing her and just tried to corner her in like sort of herding her into the house, but didn't work. So we sent Adrian out, and 30 seconds later, he comes walking with her in the collar like this. Come on, let's go in. Right. They went in together. So she obviously hasn't had any bad experiences with kids, I don't think.
Yeah. And you're currently fostering one?
Yes.
And who's that?
This is a casualty of war, actually. She was from Ukraine.
Interesting.
So when the war broke out, people fled or left their pets or died. Maybe I don't know what happened. Nobody knows. So this organization that we work with, it's called Hundar utan hem, which means dogs without a home in English.
Okay.
They work mostly with Irish dogs, because Ireland has a really bad they're really bad at taking care of the animals overall, like any animals usually, but dogs especially. And but they also works with Poland a little bit, or have started this last year, I think. And Poland, of course, is bordering to Ukraine. So when the war broke out, they drove down their truck down there with the help of the Polish people, went into the Ukraine, just picked up as many strays as they could, brought them back to Poland,
wow,
put them in a shelter, and I think they've done this a couple of times. So, but also because of the EU and everything, the dogs had to be quarantined for 3 months. So after that, she came in maybe October, I think, or something like that. Oh, fuck. Okay. She's been here a long time now. But she's still really terrified about a lot of things.
Interesting. I was interested in her story because, coming from the Ukraine, it's not necessarily that she was coming from an abusive situation, just an unfortunate situation. So I'm interested to hear that she actually is acting a little, reticent to human contact.
She's really, I think it's several things. Of course, being abandoned. She's not very young. I mean, very old. She's maybe 1.5 years, maybe 2 years, something like that. She's, and we don't really know what kind of dog or breed she is, but my girlfriend is really good at looking at stuff on the internet. So she found this, was it Russian? I don't know the English word for Spitz either, which is a kind of like the dogs with the tail like this, that's huskies and the whatever.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I've seen pictures, and it looks, it does, nothing screams. It looks like a mix of something. If I'm thinking of the right
absolutely.
dog.
She found like the Russian Ukraine whatever version of this. It has a name, of course. I just don't remember it at the moment. And those dogs that she found on Google looks very much like her. So most likely she is from that. But she's also exhibiting retriever behavior, for example, and border collie sometimes as well, but mostly retriever. So she's probably a mix of something like that. She's a lovely dog, but also very afraid of things. Still, like this morning, for example, we go out after they've eaten breakfast. I go out and see if they want to do something like any of their business, pee or poo or whatever. And something scared her this morning. So we went out. She was like this all the time. Nothing was changed. Like everything was exactly the way we normally do it. Just something scared her. So she was looking around, took a lap around the house, and then wanted to go in again. So, and then I know nothing's going to happen. Doesn't matter what, if I take her out again, doesn't matter. Nothing. She's scared now. So nothing's going to change. It's going to be the same thing if I do it again. And she has that behavior very much. I see quite a bit of the Freyja behavior. So she has probably not been well treated. And I think also the Polish shelters are, they kind of, their attitude towards dogs, they don't give them any love or any any interaction really. They put out the food and then that's it basically. That's all the interaction they get. And she needs love. She needs attention, affection. And it's very evident when she relaxes and you get to pet her. Because if I start petting her and it's first is, oh no, what are you gonna do? Oh, okay, it's pretty good. And I start rubbing her chest. She loves that chest and neck and everything. And if I stop doing it, move forward. Come on, please. If maybe a paw comes up on my hand or whatever. So she really wants it. She's just afraid to ask for it.
Yeah, that's nice.
But she's afraid of me. She's especially afraid of Adrian. She doesn't like the kid for some reason. But she's bonded like this with Olivia, my girlfriend.
Okay.
Their interaction is just like any normal dog. Like when they do things, you wouldn't suspect her to be frightened of anything really.
Right.
If there's just them, it's just like a normal dog. But if there's an unknown element introduced, that's when that's when her fears come to surface right away. Also, always. Actually, her name is Aska, by the way, which is ashes in English. So Aska.
Okay. Now, how did you get involved in fostering in the first place? Now, how far back does it go, or what was the impetus to even start?
First, we had 2 dogs when we moved here in 2011. I had my dog, and then we got Snaps shortly after that. And they got together. They were like this. My dog. This was my first puppy, so I had him since he was 9 weeks old only. He was my first child, I guess you could say, in a sense, because I didn't have anything. I didn't meet my girlfriend until a couple of years after that either. So they were together for all the time. There was no problem. He was really cool with being left alone, like when people went to work and stuff, because he knew everybody's coming back eventually. So it's never any problem. And Snaps learned from this, because Snaps has still a really bad separation anxiety. It was unbelievably bad in the beginning. Because the thing is, he came from, I don't know what you call it, is it Craigslist when you put ads out from? Yeah. So we have this in Sweden also. It's called something else, but same thing. And Olivia saw him and said, I got to go and see this dog and see. I was on tour, actually, by the way, at this point. So she went and saw him. And then she texted me and said, I did something dumb. I was like, what did you do? And I had to coax it out of her eventually. She goes, I met this dog, I saw him, and I felt so sorry for him because the thing is, they told us he was 11 months old. I don't buy that for a second.
Yeah.
I think he was more like 5, 6 months at the most.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, 6 months is probably what's that's rings true somehow. And so he was at a used car salesman. Like it's in his shop, basically in his office at the store. And so every night at 7, they locked him in, shut out the lights, and then left him alone in the dark until 7 the next morning.
Gosh.
So he really hates being left alone. It's not always bad, but sometimes it can be terrible. And over the years, we learned to teach him how to. It's okay to be alone a little bit because we do come back, eventually. But he was so safe with my dog because he was like 3 or 4 when Snaps came into the picture, and really, really calm dog. He didn't like get excited about it. He could get excited, but not for nothing.
Right.
So when we left him, there was no problem. But when my dog died, which also was when I was on tour, and that's probably so up until this point, that's the worst thing that's happened to me in my whole life. Is he got in for Olivia had to take him to the vet, and they discovered that he was bloated, which didn't understand what was happening. There was something wrong with his heart, and they said we can try and operate and stuff, and yes, do whatever you have to. But in the end, they said his heart is so damaged, we have no healthy parts to work with anymore.
Right.
So we had to take the decision to let him go, basically. And I was in the middle of a 5-week tour, so there was no way I could go home. So those were a couple of sad weeks for me.
Yeah, I feel for you. That's awful, especially when you're so far away, and
Yeah. I remember so well where I was when we were talking about it and everything. So yeah, never mind. These are the things. This is a really long story, but so point is, when he died, was lost. He didn't know what to do with himself. So he escaped and started running around. He was not cool with anything anymore. He was really afraid that we were going to leave him also, like us as well, and not just his big brother. And this was in January 17 that Leo, which the name of the dog was Leo, when he died. And a year later, it took such a long time for us to process this as well. It was just not just Snaps who felt sad and there was something missing. It took us a year to sort of think about, okay, maybe we should start looking for another dog or something. We can do something. But at first it was never going to happen. We just have this one. I don't want to go through this again because it was, like I said, it was worst thing I've ever done in my whole life so far. I'm sure there will be worse things eventually, but anyway. So maybe end of 2017, maybe we started looking to foster dogs and stuff, and then we came in contact with talking to Hundar Utan Hem. We found them online because they've been around for, I don't know, since 2006 or 7, I think, something like that. So the thing is, in Sweden, we don't really have any strays. Nobody. First of all, nobody just chucks their dog out. Of course, some people are mistreating their dogs, but we have a good system in place that it's called Länsstyrelsen. They if they get like somebody's calling that these people don't treat their animals well, they go there and check it, and then usually they take the animals if they don't think they will improve and stuff. And so there are dogs like that who end up in foster care and getting adopted in Sweden as well, but it's not so much. So they felt that they wanted to do more. So they started working with Ireland because Ireland has a really poor view of animals in general. Like, for example, the racing dogs, the greyhounds, they are classified as cattle in Ireland. Which means they can treat them different. Let's just say, and it's like at the racetrack, they're good for 2-3 years. The dogs who race,
right? And
after that, it's like a tool. If the tool's broken now, because we can't use it, we just throw it away, or well, in this case, kill it. Sometimes leave it to the shelter where they have like a 1.1% chance of surviving anyway, because they have 5 days before they're going to go to a kill shelter. But or they have a vet right next to the racetrack, where they can take them after the race when they're, serve their purpose, take them down there and put them down, basically. For me, I was horrified when I heard this. This is really true, but yeah, that's how they treat animals in Ireland, or at least greyhounds, and it extends to the other dogs as well, of course. But greyhounds in particular, I think, it's because they're so exploited with their racing and everything.
Yeah. Now we've banned it. I think it's banned now in the United States. Is it still active in either Sweden or Ireland?
Yeah, Ireland, yes, for sure. Okay. I don't think it's.
And was it even ever a thing in Sweden? I didn't mean to lump you guys in.
No, I don't think so. I don't think we ever had that thing. I think racetracks. So there might have been at a certain point, but it's been a long, long time ago.
Right.
I know we met somebody who owned the racetrack. It wasn't the racetrack. I mean, it's the track, but they didn't do any betting or anything. It's exactly legal in Sweden, so we probably never did that. Really, I don't think. Right. But anyway, but he had the racetrack, and he let greyhounds run on it just for fun. And he said, this is a couple of years ago now, but he told us that he just opened it up to every dog. In the beginning, it was just the racing dogs, but he said now any dog can come and race, and it was a huge success. It was every dog loved to run around that track and chase that little hare or rabbit or whatever.
Mechanical rabbit.
Exactly. So we were thinking about taking Zelda there, but then COVID happened, so we never. I don't know if they open up after that even, because it's no.
It's curious. I wonder if she would embrace it, or kind of would it be induce trauma?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think because she's one of those dogs that it feels like she decided that whatever happened in the past, I don't care anymore. That's all behind me. Now everything is future. And this is our first greyhound, our first contact with any greyhound even. Mm-hmm. I don't really know what I think what prompted us to adopt her was that she was so nice and calm. And I mean, not when she's running, but
they're very docile.
You know how greyhounds are. Yeah. Very docile. Great word. And I didn't know this. And if you give her hugs and pets and stuff, food, running, and sleep. That's it. That's all you need to do. And she's happiest dog I've ever seen. She's another one of those that will never, ever retaliate if somebody bites her or, if something happens or somebody attacks. She would run away instead, because she doesn't have that in her, I don't think. So she's, we always, after this, we got her. Maybe and I always talked about it. We have every time, we at all points in time, we have to have a greyhound in our pack, at least one. That's just what it has to be, because she's really won us over.
Yeah. Now, was Zelda and Freyja both, as we call it, foster fails? Were they brought in as fosters to you? Okay, so these were dogs you took in as your own. And are you thinking ahead? Is it always going to be you've got your pack of 3, but you're always open for that foster? Will you how many dogs will you have at one time?
I think 4. We had 5 once, but that was only for a week because we had our pack, and then they asked us if we could take one dog, and then he had a twin brother, like a brother from the same age, whatever you say, how you call the twin brother. Sounds stupid when it's dogs, but you know what I mean, like a brother from the same litter is what I mean. And they were maybe 6-7 months border collies, and he didn't have the brother didn't have anywhere to go, and he was also a bit scared and afraid. And those are the dogs we like to focus on, helping the dogs that take a little extra effort to rehabilitate and stuff. And so we got both of them, but that was only for a week. Then we had the other one for 3 months, and then in the end, I think last year. But that's 5 is the most. For me, it's a matter of I need to be able to walk all of them at the same time.
Right. Okay. Well, listen, I end each show with what I call the zoomies. Do you guys use that term, the zoomies?
Yeah. Oh, well, I know what it is.
Okay. Well, it's 5 quick questions to wrap up the show. So let's go there.
Before you do that, I just remembered, or I asked my girlfriend what the breed of Aska is. Yeah, it's a Russian European Laika. It's the name of the dog, Laika. Yeah, she is one of those, but mixed with something for sure.
Yeah, pretty dogs, but I would say that about every dog. So
yes, exactly.
Okay, question 1 is, do you kiss your dogs on the mouth?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Not if they. I used to didn't
Once you
mind,
know them.
if they. Yeah, once you know. Yeah, no, I kiss them on their nose all the time.
Yeah.
I think that is. I read somewhere that huskies like it, but most other dogs don't. But I don't know. Nobody seems to mind.
Okay.
So yeah, yes, I do.
Question 2 is playing off your celebrity as a musician, rock star, well known. And I know your dogs don't travel with you, but I like, this is a shameless name drop, is the shameless name drop question. But have your dogs licked anybody famous, not including yourself?
Yeah, well, the guys in the band, of course. I brought Leo once to sound check when we played in Gothenburg, like, I don't know, 13, 14 years ago. Yeah, but it was nobody famous there. Maybe yeah, maybe Björn from In Flames has been here a couple of times. I'm sure they've licked him at least once.
Okay, good to find something or someone.
Yeah.
Question 3 is, if we'll use this for Snaps. If Snaps was to join the music industry, would he be a fan, a critic, a roadie, or a groupie?
I think he would be a lead singer, if I'm honest.
Is he very vocal?
Yes, he is. He likes to bark. He likes to bark, and that means usually stop what you're doing if he barks at the other dogs, or if Olivia is playing with them somehow, because she doesn't approve. He's like the little police around here. And he also likes to be center of attention all the time. So I think that's
fits the bill.
Yes.
Question 4, do you have a dog voice? Do you have a high-pitched voice or a baby voice or a cartoon voice that you speak to your dogs with?
Yeah, I don't think, yes, I do, of course, because my normal voice that's the thing also with dogs that we get. They're for some reason afraid of males. They like females better. That has happened several times. Olivia has a very like this really cute baby voice kind of thing, and I sometimes adapt that as well, and that helps a lot, especially with Aska. It has helped a lot because she's really afraid. Yeah, the funny thing with her is she wants to cuddle. She doesn't dare ask for it. But if I cuddle and pet Zelda for a while, she always comes running. And me too. So now she knows it's safe. So, but then of course it helps a lot if I talk to her with this nice, calm voice. It really does. Like Freyja, for example, I can come up to her now. It's fine. She doesn't even lift her head sometimes when she's on the bed sleeping, because she sleeps 18 hours a day or something. She's a professional sleeper, my girlfriend used to say, because she sleeps. I think that's reaction from what she had to go through to get here, basically. Right. She couldn't ever probably relax enough to sleep, and now she sleeps all the time. But she doesn't. For the first time, every time somebody came in the room, she was, oh, what's going on? But now she doesn't even lift her head sometimes. So she's getting really comfortable here. But then when I come up to her, I start talking to her. Then I use that sweet baby voice kind of thing. Because she's special to me. Well, they all are. But because of her background, it feels so good that when I see that she's relaxed and just enjoying herself. It makes me feel really warm inside.
Yes, for sure. Okay, last question is there a charity or dog organization you just like to give credit to and call out for our listeners to be aware of?
Absolutely. The organization we work with, Hundar Utan Hem, is a nonprofit. They have a couple of people those who are responsible for finding the homes of the dogs. I think they're actually employed, but people like us and everybody else who works with them are how do you say that in English when you just do it for
volunteer?
Yeah, exactly, volunteers. So Hundar Utan Hem for sure, and Freyja comes from an Irish. From Ireland, from Husky Rescue Ireland. I would like to mention them as well, because they are swamped with dogs all the time. There are a lot of Huskies in Ireland, and there are a lot of Huskies that are mistreated as well. And I'm not a singer, but I like to sing karaoke. So during the pandemic, I did this every weekend, but now I do it maybe once a month or so. Instagram, I go online and do karaoke, and people who donate, because I always make a fundraiser for Husky Rescue Ireland or Hundar Utan Hem, or either one of those. those who donate gets to pick a song together with me. Like we choose a song, and so just an incentive for them. And we did this. When was it? Which right before Christmas or right before New Year's? I don't remember, but I usually do that once a month, and just for fun. And it doesn't always result in a ton of donations, but sometimes it does. And this time was I think we raised $350 or something like that. So
hey,
well, do whatever you can, basically.
For sure.
Every little cent or euro cent or whatever helps.
Yeah.
So and it's really fun for me too. I was doing it before just for fun because I loved it. And then I realized I could combine those two and make something even better out of it.
Well, that's great. I'll keep an eye out, and I did see some of it on Instagram. But next time you do it, I'll try to push it out on our feed as well.
And thanks, that'd be great.
Get some Americans in on the action.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Do you have anything you want to promote? This will be out early spring.
Yeah, we're coming to the US and North America and Canada in May. It's going to be starting. We start in Houston on May 11th or 12th, and then we do a tour with Halloween together.
Great.
And in between the shows, we do some headline shows as well because we're the special guests for this tour.
Okay.
So I think we start with a headline tour in Houston, and then there's Halloween on the 12th and 13th in Dallas, and then we go for about a month, and then we go back home. So that's the next thing we're doing. I'm really looking forward to it because we had one tour that was canceled in the US due to COVID at the end of 2020. So now it's the first time we can come back and really do it again. So
great.
It's going to be, we've been touring with Halloween this year, and it's fantastic. So I can't wait to bring this overseas as well. Great
to hear. Well, Aska, thank you so much for taking your time and giving me the rundown on your dogs and your fostering efforts. And I applaud you and everyone who does good for our furry friends. So appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I love this idea of this podcast you have as well. It's great. It raises awareness for a really important issue, I think. So
thank you. I agree. Thank you very much.
Tremendous.
All right. Thank you, Aska Dronjak, for sharing your pack with us and doing what you do for our canine friends. The organization Aska chose to highlight are Hundar Utan Hem, which translates to Dogs Without a Home, and is a nonprofit that rehomes Swedish dogs and rescue dogs threatened with euthanasia in Ireland, the Canary Islands, and Poland. They were founded in 2005 with one goal: to save dogs at a risk of being euthanized and give them a second chance at a happy life. To learn more, go to hundarutanhem.se. The other organization was Husky Rescue Ireland, which was set up to alleviate the suffering caused to huskies and Akitas by irresponsible ownership, abuse, and neglect in Ireland. They rescue and rehome huskies and Akitas with the aim to reduce the social impact of abandoned and unneutered dogs in communities all around Ireland. To learn more how you can help, go to huskyrescueireland.ie. Thanks as always for listening. We'd love to hear any feedback you have, especially maybe my pronunciation of Swedish words. So reach out to us on Instagram at Rocker Dog Podcast and let us know what's on your mind. Please join us again next week for another new episode with a songwriter whose hits pretty much ruled 80s MTV and are still inescapable today. All right, it's time to give Charlie some undivided attention. So long, everybody.